supercharge.com. I'd like to welcome you to the monthly Network Empire Elite Members Only webinar. And we've had a little bit of a technical difficulty this morning. We're just working out some of the bugs and the change time zones issues. It's good to see all of you. This is starting to become a packed call, and I think that makes sense. There's a lot of changes afoot. Seems like there always is. There are some exceptional ones via post-Skyfall and other technical releases from Google that we've talked to you about. We're just still letting people come in the room, and as everybody gets situated, we are also getting Jimmy Kelley still on the line, debugging something for him. I'd like to welcome a few of you that I recognize. Tony Camaro's here, Tyson, TG rather, and let's see, we've got Neil and Lionel are here. We have a lot of Theme Zoom certification students here. It's really exciting as well. So normally what we do in our monthly first Tuesday of every month webinar for basic members is we have you bring your own website silo architecture. And so this really is a great place and time for questions and for direct insight into your specific case, that is your case study, your website, or your client's website. So generally speaking, it's first come, first serve. If you have a website that you're interested in sharing, that you'd like us to look at, we're going to start with that. Then we're going to get a feel for how many of you are having issues with Panda Penguin. While we have Jimmy here, presuming we get the debugging happening, we are going to want to hear from you which one of you have had any issues. I'd like to just throw that out there. For those of you on the call that starts filling up, how many of you are having have issues in regards to the last update? Just give me a 1 if you have and a 2 if you have not. Okay, so
actually, let's make it more specific. Give me a 1 if you've been de-indexed, if you've fallen out of the index altogether, or a penalty, if you've seen a penalty in Webmaster Tools. Give us a 2 if you've just seen a drop in rankings, and a 3 if you haven't had any problems at all.
Can you repeat those?
Yeah, a 1 if you've gotten a penalty or fallen out of the index completely, a 2 if you've seen a drop in rankings, and a 3 if you haven't had any problems at all.
Okay.
You've got a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Look, so yeah, it's hard to give a percentage because it's so well mixed. Although we do have a couple of people that have been de-indexed, but interestingly, it is a majority of people. Some of you I know follow our methods are not being de-indexed. There are others probably using a mixed mesh of different methods. So we only have 2 out of about 15 people that have said they've seen a de-index, so that's good. See, there is a drop of rankings for some of you, and then some of you there's no movement whatsoever. Okay, so that's good.
Cool.
All right, does anybody have a website? We're still waiting. No one's dropped a website.
Actually, I also want to take a moment to say the 1st of December is our cutoff for the early bird special for certification. So if any of you guys have been thinking about it, you might want to think a little bit harder. This being the beginning of November, the end of the year is upon us. It's like, where did it go? No, I'm not ready for Christmas yet. Sorry.
What are you sorry about? That was like a pitch right at the beginning of the webinar. I mean, dang.
Well, it's just because it was on my screen.
You've had a lot of coffee. Oh, it is.
No,
actually.
Me?
Wow, when Sue gets up on the platform, we are in trouble. The thing is, guys, that she's right. That we are moving into a period here. I'm trying to give you guys a good. If you could see the world through my eyes over the last 5 days, it's pretty interesting and comical. You guys know that we came out with a warning about everything that's going down now for anybody using those types of methods. It's really interesting because when there are huge problems that happen, we do have a lot of interested parties and individuals, people who are going, wow, you told us so, you told us so. Since 2007, you told us so. Well, there's stuff going on now that have to do with the Skyfall. The Skyfall release and Sue and Jimmy talking about it and the conversations around it It was a bit, we had to make some decisions about how we were going to release that and roll that out to the public because usually, in fact, there's been very few times that we haven't nailed it. Usually we nail something like that, and it is coming to pass that that is the case. So I would say that the technologists in this company are definitely prophets in terms of the technology side of things, and sometimes in terms of the culture as well. But what we're really looking at is a ramp up, and we have a lot more interest in the live certification event, which is why Sue is putting it out there, because I think we like to see our students who have been here a long time, you think you have until the 5th. We really don't at this point because of what's going down. There's a lot of activity on all of our certification courses. So I'm pretty excited about that as well. And for those of you who aren't able to make it this year, we will be ramping up the certification courses that we introduced you to this year. That's the stackable educational system. And of course, they will be iterative. That means there's several versions of them. In other words, we grow their perpetual mastermind and certification trainings. They grow each time we go through them. It picks up more knowledge, picks up more insight. And whose website is that?
Apparently, I'm having some internet connection issues here.
Okay.
Hang on.
Well, that's a database issue. That's a WordPress issue.
No, my what's that?
This is an easy review right here.
Right?
Well, first problem, you can't reach your content. Problem number 1. Next. So Jimmy, I guess you got on the call. Are you calling from your phone?
Yeah, I do my phone. I don't know what's going on with I can't hear anything through the speakers on only GoTo. So. Okay.
We'll have to troubleshoot that for you. I'm glad that you can hear us at least.
So I'm watching.
Yeah, no, I got you. I'm actually checking. I'm trying to confirm with Sue if that database, I believe that's a WordPress call, though.
Yeah, that's a major error. So, Joe, if it's still working for you, it might be because you have the site cached.
Yeah.
Because this is not an issue with my actually hitting the server. So,
let me see. I'm actually up.
You are?
Yeah.
So I'm the only one who's got that problem. All right, good.
Well, for now. You could have hit a random database error. That's weird, though. That's not good.
I don't think there are random database errors with WordPress.
Well, I've noticed one time, sometimes I go to one machine and you just catch it at the right time on the server and then there's an error.
I tell you what, if you've got it on your side, I can pass you the controls.
Okay. Let me go ahead and do that, sure. I don't think I have a cached version of this.
No, you wouldn't. Well, I don't see how you would, but
well,
it doesn't matter so long as you've got it.
The reason I mentioned it is because the site does look familiar. I thought maybe we covered it in a previous.
Just get rid of the dub. Oh, it went to dub all by its little lonesome. That wasn't my thing.
Oh, is that what you... you want that?
Oh, you're absolutely right. Never mind. Let me grab it back.
Okay. Power gone. Again.
Yep. Too late.
I almost had the ring. Damn it. Every single time. Okay. No, this is good. So, yeah. No WW. That brings up an issue. Can you address that? What is your... You immediately went to www. To me, it seems like that should be noted.
No, I didn't. I copied and pasted what he put in the thing, but I think it's because my internet connection fell at exactly the time that I put it in, and so it tried to redirect me to www or something.
I'm not talking about the error that happened. I'm talking about the fact that www is not active. I think that's a mistake. I personally would want to readjust that. I always do on my sites.
Well, it depends on whether or not you've already got inbound links to this or not.
Well, that's true. And, again, if it's
a brand new site, you could move it. If it's not a brand new site, then you might not want to.
Yeah, because then you would have effectively two domains that are being optimized.
Well, you would move it. You wouldn't, you move it and do a 301 redirect.
So that would be the question that I'm addressing. Did you build this from the beginning with no subdomain, or did you just build it? What is going on with this? Have you been doing marketing with no www, or is this pretty much it, or what's the deal? Who cited this anyways?
This is Joe.
Oh, he didn't address that.
Yeah.
To me, that's kind of a big deal,
appreciate
personally.
that. You can fix that on your hosting side. There's a couple different ways to fix it. So, I like the site. Just my first impression, puppy dogs. Who hates puppy dogs? Puppy dogs and kids. That's great. And, you know, mess all at the same time. Can't speak to that, can you, gentlemen? You guys with kids? So, and then you've got the opt-in on the left. Good. Angie's List. Super Service Award. That's awesome. So you've got Why Should I Believe You? You've got what it is you're offering. Let's look at the HTML. You've got a title, Sandy Bright, Carpet Cleaning Company. How are your rankings doing? Converting great when it ranked. Okay. So is it not ranking? Did it fall completely off the internet, or just drop, or dropped completely from the update? Ouch. All right. Dropped completely from the update. How much do we want to get into that, Mr. Kelley, if it's completely off the internet from this update?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm running a report on his right now, so I need to. So how far did it drop? Like, what's the range in rankings?
It's still indexed.
But where's so you had the main keyword before, and how far did it drop?
You can see the comments, right, Jimmy?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So,
how far did it drop to, Tony?
it's actually Joe, from #1 organically to nothing.
So nothing, like, it's not anywhere to be seen?
Can't find it in the first 10 pages. What's your primary keyword? Did it drop for all your keywords or just primary keyword? Carpet cleaning in Indianapolis. Dropped for all keywords. All right.
What type of backlinking were you using?
Homepage is still indexed.
Did you use PBNs or what type of backlinks did you use, Joe? Oh, okay. So I might have two things going here.
All right.
So you had a redirect also. So let's just see.
Yeah.
Let me run.
Joseph is saying that he's in the 7-pack.
Just bear with me while I run these reports.
That is interesting. #1 in the 7-pack and yet dropped for...
Another question is, did you write your own content or get it from a specific source? Okay. Okay, so I'm running two of them. I'm running two of them right now.
I take it you're still getting some traffic off of the map listing, right, Joe?
Holy crap, Joseph's right. You're on the 7-pack.
Half of what he was before. Okay.
He's on the 7-pack with the database error.
There's no database error. It came up.
No, go to the 7-pack for the keyword carpet
the
cleaning.
dub. Oh, dang.
Yeah,
you do need to...
I think I see part of your problem, dude.
You definitely need to get the dub redirected.
Yeah. You got major traffic coming from 7-pack. Thank you, Joseph, for that. Certified advisor.
Yeah.
That's going to be a problem. That would actually probably affect your rankings, dude. Can almost guarantee it affect your rankings. So one of the things we got to look at is whether the subdomain was marketed to independently of the resolve, and see what the backlinks. I don't know what Jimmy is checking. He's just checking the root, or without the subdomain.
No,
he's
checking the whole domain.
The whole domain. Okay. That's just a huge ouch. I'm probably overreacting. Probably not, actually.
Today. Okay. When did you fall, Joe? How long ago? 2.5 weeks. All right, that's about when it first showed up.
Are you sure that you just didn't find out about this today, or you've been checking your local listings then? I'm talking about the database error. Then I won't mention it again. Okay.
So, are you in Yelp, Joe? Fix or check that in cPanel. I'm trying to think of where that is. Since you had dub in the map pack, I'm interested, Jimmy. What's the inbound links look like? Do they come to the dub site or do they come to the domain?
They're coming in at the www. Mostly there's a few scattered non, but the primary is www.
So I'm thinking somehow your site got redirected to the root rather than the www. That setting is available inside your blog. And that's also going to have to be set up in Apache somewhere. So I would go into cPanel and I would check, dang, you know, I'm such a Unix prompt kind of girl. I'm trying to think of where the heck that is in cPanel. If somebody's more familiar with cPanel than me, give me a hint. Tell Joe where that is. You can do the redirect. Yeah, I know you can do the redirect inside the WordPress settings. What I'm looking for is for him to find out how it got reset. So inside the admin panel, I can show you one of mine. Hang on. Here in settings, I think it's under reading. It's either general or reading. It's under general. Of course it's under general. That's because I picked reading. Yeah, it's under general. The site address. So you can come in here and you can change it here, but I think that just changing it there, you've got to also change it so that Apache is actually going to look for it on the www. Let me just see. Brian's given us a URL here. Redirect at 301 versus a 302. So that's actually going to set up a 301 redirect inside of Apache. And it's possible that that redirect was removed. And then you went to, it would have reverted then to the root. Or it's possible that it was just set up. Let me think about that for a second. Yeah, you must have the kind of hosting that's going to put it on either the www or the root, depending on where the redirect is or isn't, would be my guess. And when you do it at the prompt, there's just absolutely no ifs, ands, or buts. Like you just create it one way, and you don't have the same issue that you've got on most popular hostings. Basic HostGator. Yeah, HostGator. I actually have a HostGator account somewhere. So in here, I think if you take a look under subdomains, you can see what's currently there. You can see what it currently looks like. Other side, it's on the same server engine. You know, you might want to call HostGator and just have them walk you through that, because since something got changed, if it were me, I would want to know how it got changed and why, and make sure that, like, maybe maybe they did something. Want to make sure that it's not hacked, that kind of thing. All right. So you said you had Yelp. So I find it interesting that on the SERPs, like you've also got a Yelp entry here. Not you personally, not your company, but or your client, but that there is a Yelp entry here, which means it would be really easy to get your Yelp entry. Probably fairly easy anyway to get your Yelp entry on here. There was a really interesting thing that I've seen when guys lose their ranking if they own most of the front page. Then when they actually, for whatever reason, they lose ranking on something, they've still got a bunch of other places that they own on the front page. I mean, for me, that's dominating the market. And so when you've got a bunch of other platforms like Yelp, Angie's List, unfortunately, is bad because you actually have to have an account for Angie's List in order to see it. You probably, if we could see through this Angie's List, it would be you guys, since you got that award last year. But you've got Thumbtack here. You've got a couple of other places. So if all of these things were you, then that does two things. It gives you more chances for somebody to click through to you and find you, and it also gives you more brand authority, and then just gives you more traffic overall, as well as when you lose something. Cool. Just reading everybody's comments here. The Panda Penguin stuff, well, it's actually kind of starting here because this was a Panda Penguin hit site. This is Serena who asked when we're going to do that. So Jimmy's been running some of the reports in the background, and I'll turn the screen over to him here in a second and let him talk about what it is he's found as soon as he's got stuff up. And so I'm just talking about general stuff in the meantime. You know, usually I don't like the drop-down menus. It oftentimes bleeds the page rank, or bleeds the theming, but you don't have that many pages here, so I'm not too fussed about that. And you were ranking well, so it's probably, I would put money on it that it's the nature of your inbound links, but we'll know more here in a minute, that's dropped your rankings.
Yeah, I think this is following a very similar pattern to what we were looking at prior to, as far as the inbound links go.
Okay. Do you want me to pass you the screen?
Sure.
All right.
All right, can you see it okay?
Not yet. Did you hit show my screen?
Yeah.
Oh, here it comes. All right.
Everybody see the screen okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, 301s will pass a penalty to its destination. So that's the other thing you want to do is go back and look at the redirect that you're using to that other domain or to this domain and see what the backlink profile looks like. The other thing that we're noticing is you definitely want to stay away from, this is like a thing that people are setting up backlinks incorrectly with. So let me see, let me start from the beginning. So the common thing that I've been seeing with a lot of sites that went down is they have a high percentage of this, usually 10% and over, for your possible link networks. You have some more here. It's not quite 10% on that one, but that's 7.3. You have some suspicious 4. And, you know, all that all that stuff seems to add up. I noticed on a lot of the PBMs that we checked, same kind of concept. And I don't know how much detail you want to get into with some of the other stuff, but when you come down here and look at some of these backlinks, like I pulled up some of them. So I filtered them out for possible leak networks and suspicious for and toxic, because those are the ones you always want to get. So you have this one here, an inbound link. This one came up under possible link network. So this is something common that we've been seeing with a lot of them, and I think it's just the way people are setting them up. So you have these inbound links coming. So, for instance, you have some of these coming in. I know this isn't the exact page. I picked a page on here, but they all kind of go back to the same kind of thing. So this would be a Yelp page, and then this would take you to the actual site. So that seems to be fine, with the exception of when the real canonicals start getting mixed up. Because what I'm seeing on almost every PBM that's been hit is all of them are stating that they're the original source or the lack thereof. So what do I mean by that is when you come in and you look at the source code, so for this inbound link, you have the real canonical here that's showing that it's going to carpet cleaning improves indoor air quality. So it's saying that this is the original content. When you come into, so that's this URL right here. So now if you go over to the home, and, I could you can go into the category pages and stuff too and find the same thing. But you can see this is the same content here. So, and this page doesn't state that it has any rel canonical. So essentially, to Google, this is due content to Google, but you have multiple links all going to the same destinations. And I've noticed with almost every single PBM that we've found that's gotten de-indexed, it's been a situation like this, where you just have multiple links out, all ending up at the same destination, and basically like a due content kind of thing. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah, Jimmy, it looks like several people have said that it makes a lot of sense.
So at the very beginning, you said something about a 301 passing a penalty, and I don't think that we mentioned that what he said that he was doing. So he had an older site that he did a 301 forward to this site, and he did it with a 301. So
yeah, so this was the backlink profile for that. If we come back over and look at this one, and it's not quite done yet. I can see if it'll let me at least pull up the filters. And it's still running on that one. But yeah, certainly, a 301 does pass a penalty, and that did that even before this update. So you just have to be careful. Any links going to the old domain eventually end up on your destination, and so the penalty will pass.
could you go back over where it's duped content?
Yeah. It's possible if you remove that 301 that it would remove the penalty. One thing you can do with that 301 is you could undo the 301 and disavow the domain on the one you're trying to rank, and then go get your link, go get that page 301 recrawled, or submit the sitemap to Google Webmaster Tools, and that will force Google to recrawl it, and then it can recognize that it's no longer pointing at your site. So that has the possibility to remove the penalty that way when you do a 301. The dupe content, the one I was talking about with this one, so you see that this is basically like the same kind of stuff. You got your link out there, you have your link out here, another link down here. So the canonical is pointing to this URL here. So when you check that, you just right-click and hit View Page Source. And you can just do a search for your canonical. It's usually towards the top. You can see it right here. So you can see that this is, so the canonical means that this is the original source of the content. Okay. So now, if I go to the home page, right, because this is a different URL up here. Like this is probably one of the most common thing we found on most sites getting de-indexed, I would say. So you got your link here. You can tell this is the same page, and probably if you go into, I don't know what category it'd be under, we can either uncategorized or clean, I guess. Oh, yep, uncategorized. So you have a homepage version, you have your post version, you have your category version. Let's see if this one defines the canonical. See, like none of these other ones are defining the canonical on them. So, but because they're up and they're indexed, that's going to cause the dupe content. Does that make sense? Did I explain that well enough? How do you fix it? I mean, typically, you can have it set up the same way, but you need to put all the canonicals of the original source going back to whatever you want the original source to be, and then it would be fine to leave all that up. Or to change the other URLs to no index follow. So that way, you're not going to get penalized for the dupe content. So typically, if the canonical confuses you, you want to go in and make sure that you're just, no index your categories, no index your tags, and no index your archives. But if you understand the canonical, then you can just make sure, if you're setting it up this way, that all the canonicals go to one page, not stating that they're all the original source. Because what this says on a Panda level, so you have a Panda level and you have your 1-to-1 ratio. So you need one link to one piece of content. And when that gets thrown off, it's like in this instance, so if you're looking at this one, so this is linking to a site, right? But this same content and these same links are on every, there's about 4 different URL versions of this exact piece of content. So Google's only going to index one of them. They're not going to index all 4 of them. So what you end up doing for this specific link, that would be counting 4 inbound links to your money site with only one piece of content.
So, Jimmy,
So
do you have a blog handy that's got, say, Yoast installed or something like that we can actually show these guys how to do the?
Yeah, I can show them one. Let's see. The other thing you guys want to be careful with is leaving patterns. So linking over to other PBNs or all of them coming from the same host. Like Google is tracking this stuff back 2 levels now. Before, it was kind of a gray area on the tier 2 stuff, but now it's like if all of them are bad and they all go back to the same destination, it's going to get hit. And Google isn't done with this rollout. I think we probably have another 2 or 3 weeks of this to go. So, let's see. I'll show you the canonical real quick, and then I'll try to answer some questions coming in. Oh, that's my bear. Let's see. Where's my crap one? Okay. So if we go to a page, oh, of course I don't have it in here, huh? I have to install it real quick. Yeah. Don't know where it is. Oops.
Checking to see if I've got it on one of my blogs. So just while he's installing that, somebody asked me if I have a preference of Yoast over one of the other SEO plugins that might have this option, and the only reason we're demoing Yoast is just because I know a lot of people use it, and because there are so many options, it's hard to find one of our outsourcers that uses it and sets it up all the time set it up wrong the other day, and just because it's a bit confusing, I thought it would be a good thing to look at. So yeah. We've got a few people that are starting to trickle in now because of the time change. I apologize to you guys. We're in Arizona, so the time doesn't change here, which seems sane to me. But I know even Google, or not Google, but GoTo have the wrong time up. So my apologies on that.
So here we go. So if you want to change this, so let's say that this was my post that I put up. And let's say I actually want this to be on the home page and not not whatever this URL is. Right? So the URL would be whatever this is right now. So to avoid the duped content, you just have to copy your, let's say it's going to be the home page that I'm going to make it. So you just come down here, you can go into advanced, and the canonical URL you're going to put in right here. And then you hit save or update, and then it would be the canonical. So I'll just go ahead and do that so you can see. So I'll go in and view the post. Then if we right-click and view page source, should be able to see the real canonical now shows the home page as the original source of content. So that way, you'd avoid the dupe content, because you got to think about this from Google's perspective. They're seeing on that specific blog, they see it, they have the home page, they have the post page, they have the category page, sometimes they have the tag page, sometimes it's the archive page, and all of them are usually the default of WordPress is they'll all say that they're the original source of content, and that causes huge issues with Google, especially if you're using them for backlinks, because that throws off your link to content ratio significantly.
So that works great if you've got a PBN where you've only got a few posts, and the posts aren't ever going to scroll off the home page. But if the posts are eventually going to scroll off the home page, like it's a money site that you're constantly blogging to, then I think the best thing to do is to put a synopsis on the home page, and then do a no index on the on all the other pages. Would you show them where the no index options are?
Yeah. So let me see. Just go back here. So right here, this is your index, so you would set to no index, and then just keep it follow. So you do want Google to follow the links and stuff on it, but as long as it's no index, it's not going to incur a penalty.
And you want to no index the other pages too. There's like 3 or 4 places in Yoast that you have to set it to no index. That's only going to do the home page, right?
Yeah. Well, and this one specifically was the post, but I mean, I think if you go into categories, I mean, you can do it here. You can do it through the Yoast SEO settings as well, I believe.
Yeah, that's where I know how to do it. No index this category. I think you can set all the categories to no index off of the Yoast, down under the Yoast settings.
See, right? No index subpages archives. I would recommend doing that. There's some other stuff in here. So you got your posts and your pages, media. I mean, you can look for them, but you just want to make sure you're clicking the. See right here is no index follow.
Yeah. So there's like
no index follow.
One for categories, one for tags.
So, but that's
yeah.
typically the place that most people get caught up pretty bad.
Yeah. Paul's asking if we can demo all-in-one SEO pack too. I tell you what, Paul, we'll do it in a video and we'll put it up in the members area, because we're quickly coming up on the end of the hour and there's a few more things that we should cover.
So we could see if this other report is done. See what the health looks like of your. It's still going.
Okay. Paul also asked if the duplicate content issue is fixed. Is there any saving a de-indexed PBN?
Yeah, it depends on if it's link-based. I mean, there's always ways to recover them.
It really depends on what the error was, what the penalty is. And we cover all that in a great deal of depth in the Traffic Hospital course. Like we go into a bunch of the different errors and what you need to do. And yeah, I would have to say that it just depends.
Yeah, and that course was like 15 hours long.
Yeah, we're not going to fit that in the next 15 minutes.
Sometimes you could do that, Tony, but typically link juice will flow all the way through. So Tony's asking about doing a double 301. It just kind of depends on how you set it up, but typically if a site's penalized, it'll flow all the way through to the destination. It might not happen right away, and you might see rankings come back for a time, but then usually once it catches up, it'll tank again.
Joseph asked a great question. If you make changes like what we just made in Yoast plugin, how long does it take for Google? Is there anything that you can do to kick Google to make it become aware of the changes, reverse the penalties?
Yeah, you have to go grab all those URLs and get them recrawled. So throw them into an indexing service. Once you've cleaned up PBNs or edited links or anything you might have control over, you'd want to do that. So that would be that's exactly how, you know, when we disavow, like if you go and disavow links, same kind of process. You disavow and you get them recrawled, the specific URLs. I've been looking for a couple of other new indexing services. I haven't been happy with some of the ones I've been using lately just because they seem like they're not being as effective, so I've been on the lookout for a new one myself.
Does vCracken post potentially cause the deep content issues as well? You know, I've noticed we've got one version of vCracken out there that's making duplicate posts. I don't know how that one got back into circulation. I'm not sure where that download is, but aside from that one particular thing, I'll go through them all and make sure that we've got them all set to the correct place, and then tell everybody to go download it again. But aside from that one thing, that shouldn't be a problem. I will say that on your vCracken, you want to make sure that you're getting the descriptions loaded in from the videos so that you've got more content on there than nothing. The more content you've got on your site, obviously we've looked at, I think, literally hundreds of sites at this point, and the more content you've got on your site, the better it's going to be, the better it's going to fare. The only Pinvid sites that we had that had any penalties were backtracked from a hosting issue, and we'll get more into that. We'll do another update here in a little bit. Now, I don't think that that's going to be a big problem for most of the people that are Network Empire members, just because we don't tell you guys to do PBNs. We don't teach PBNs, and this is more of a PBN issue than it is the way we build our networks. But we had a few Pinvid sites set up in more of a PBN type method, and those took a hit. But they were all hosted on the same hosting company, and they all had do follow links instead of no follow links. Like it was a particularly weird set of circumstances. I think it was like 2 or 3 things that just lined up absolutely wrong. So I don't think that there's any problem with vCracken. I don't think that there's, I know there's not any problem with any of our other Pinvids. All of our hundreds of other Pinvids are still peachy. And I was waiting for some of them to fall, and they haven't. So I think it's good.
Jarrett, do you want to share your PBN that you think is causing the problem? I could look at it. Everybody can look at it real quick.
Yeah, I'm happy to go a little bit long because I think that there's going to be more people coming in. Yeah, I'm watching more people come in now just because of the time zone issue. So, so I'm happy for this to run at least another half an hour.
Yeah, Brian's asking what are the 2 messages that we're seeing. So the 2 messages, in a nutshell, I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, but they're both basically, one is a spam a pure spam, and it's dealing with content. And you guys need to be careful with like who you get content from. You can, there's some stuff out there that could make it looks readable, it's legible, but they put a bunch of characters into it that allows them to make many articles, even though it's the exact same. It's like a guarantee to destroy your site or any site it's linking to if you're using it for a backlink. But basically, pure spam that has to deal with like scraped content, gibberish content, you know, that type of stuff. And then the other message we're seeing is it's another spam one, but it's link oriented. It's just some unnatural inbound links pertaining to like link schemes, manipulative practices, kind of thing. Those are two messages we see out of everything that's been going on since October 15th.
Yes, for those guys who have to leave, this is going to be posted in the members area, absolutely.
Yeah, Brian, so if I was going to check it, I would, you know, come up with a alternate email, alternate phone number, and just throw that in and check them. But don't do it with your, you don't want to do it with the main ones that you're using for your money sites. Oh, he's got his. All right, let's take a look at this one. Where did it go?
Try taking off the www.
Yeah, I can try that one. It's either a cache issue. My guess is this SEO hosting, Jared?
He says no.
Yeah, I can get this one pulled.
That might be a reason why it's de-indexed.
All right, let me try this one.
All right.
There the other one came up.
You got quite the lag on your end. Your
Oh,
audio
I
is
do?
yeah, your audio is much faster than your video.
Yeah, so you got, so this one, you know, you got your recent posts and all of this, but you have, let's see where these are going here.
There, we can finally see the site now.
Okay, so you have it going to the pet stain one. So you can see up here we got our home URL. Let's just look at the page source. It should say canonical. So it's got it inmycreditcrunch.com. So then we'll go to this one. Individual page. And so you got the canonical here, which is something different than the home page. And then, when was this posted? September. So if you come to your archive page, not too bad. There's been a snippet on that one. So yeah, you got those. So you have those two coming in. So both of those are saying that this is original content, both the home and this individual URL. And also, you know, one thing you're doing good is you're theming them, at least. I mean, I would just make it a little beefier with content. I would say any PBN should have at least 10 posts on it, just so it doesn't look, you know, just only for a backlink use. I've recovered some stuff using a different method.
Hey, Jimmy, we have to, let me read the question before you just answer out of the blue, because the audience won't know what question you're answering.
Okay.
Are you reading Brian Hassler's question?
Yeah.
Brian asks, for a dupe content issue causing de-indexing, have you gotten re-indexed without a reconsideration request, just purely through running your fixed offending URLs via rel canonical or no index changes through a link indexer? I think Jimmy was about to get into a method that we talk about elsewhere. Is that correct, Sue? We were not going to talk about that here, or we were?
I don't know what he was going to say, to tell you the truth.
Okay, Jimmy, go ahead.
Well, you know, you should be able to, you know, so you have you got that Google's looking at 2 tiers now. So where you have power and stuff going before. So I don't know what the backlink profile looks like on this one, but you know, a lot of the PBNs also. So it was a combination of this kind of linking with multiple rel canonical, and then you also have a big, like the individual PBNs also had, you know, high percentage of possible link network. So if Google followed that back from a page that's ranking, you know, before it would accept the power from the tier 1, but now as far back as tier 2, it's not safe anymore. So if you're using PBNs and stuff, you really need to be careful with how you're picking them and making sure that they don't have, you know, a high percentage of bad links already, because it's just it'll follow through to what you're trying to rank.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to point out that we're going to have, probably in a couple of weeks, probably just after we get back from Nashville, I want to let the remainder of this update roll out. I think it's got a good 2 more weeks in it. So probably the week that we get back from Nashville, we'll do a webinar for the Tech Foundation course and get into a lot of detail about everything that we're seeing, how we're seeing, not the Tech Foundation course, the Traffic Hospital course, sorry, and show you guys exactly what we're seeing in terms of how they're following 2-tiered links back, and what kind of, specifically what kind of things do you need to do to rectify what's going on with this particular update. The thing that I want to specify here is you want to make sure that your content's not spammy. You want to make sure that you don't have too many links to the amount of content that you've got on your site or on your page. You want to make sure that like you want your content, you want more content than not. We can get away with some pretty low amount of content on the PinVid sites using vKraken, but I think it's because of the sheer number of pages that we have, so that when you look at the content across the entire site, there's a fair amount of content for the links. We also no-follow those links back to the money site. So, so whenever you have a no-follow, it doesn't count, right? It's not, Google looks at it as not attempting to manipulate PageRank, so it falls within their terms of service. If you have a PBN site where you actually have a do-follow link, then you've got to have enough content to support those links. So if you've got one of those spam filter penalties, that's what the best thing you can do to clean that up is to write some more content, write some good content. It also looks like they're looking hard at people that are linking to affiliate products, and it also looks like they're looking hard at networks on a specific host. So all of those things are stuff that we'll get into more detail with on a later webinar.
Yeah, I would say, don't be doing too many links from the same hosting provider. Make sure you're trying to diversify that.
Yeah.
Make sure you're covering your normal tracks, registration name, email, IP, name server, the typical stuff that people should know. And then you also need to be careful with the toxic links on Tier 2 now. So that's just going to carry through at this point.
Right. We haven't seen any issues with any of the stuff like domain authority stacking. That's all been really good. But then with domain authority stacking, most of those links are going to be no-follow links. So, if you've stayed within the parameters of what we teach at Network Empire, I don't think you're going to see too many problems. It's when you've gone and purchased links, particularly links from networks. This particular update is hitting networks very hard. And I think that what they've done, if it were me, the way that I would have rolled out this update, because it has a lot of different parameters in it, I would have taken a data snapshot about 2 weeks ago when they first started the update, and then they sally forward through all of the things that they're checking, because what they're checking in Step 2 is dependent on the updates from Step 1. So it goes more or less sequentially. It's rolling sequentially through all of the things that they want to look at. And so I think we got probably a good couple more weeks. I know about a week ago Matt Cutts said that there were several more weeks before this update was going to be finished. And when I think about all of the stuff that we covered in Skyfall, all of the different data points, it's going to take a while to calculate everything and have everything flesh out. So this is kind of an intermediate update. This is what we're seeing going on. We've had a lot of folks with PBNs have been complaining that they've gotten huge chunks of networks with issues with them. And it's kind of hard to tell unless you throw the site into Google Webmaster Tools. It's really hard to tell what the problem is. So it's hard to tell you exactly how to fix it if you don't know what the problem is. But on the majority of the PBNs that I've been seeing, where they have put them into Google Webmaster Tools, it's been the spammy content, which I think is a content to link ratio based thing. Yeah.
It also includes citations.
Yeah. So,
and that's the other thing I want to point out is, so I had a good friend from Australia. He knows who he is. He was giving me examples where they were on the same host, and one was good and one was bad. So one was indexed and one was still was no index. So looking at them, when I was reviewing them, I was going back through some of the data yesterday. Like one of them that was good the day before was now no index this time around. So just know when you're seeing that kind of pattern right now, like this is not, like Sue said, this is not done yet. So
All right.
That makes, hopefully people heard me on that one.
Yeah, if you get too far away from the phone, it gets a bit fuzzy. All right. So, if you guys feel like you've got sort of a handle on what it is we talked about today, give me a 1. If it's complete mush and you feel as unenlightened as when we started the Webby, give me a 2. We will have, yeah, I'm sorry about the time zone problem, Jazz. We will have a replay for you in the members area.
Yep, I will render it as soon as we complete. Probably you guys have noticed that this webinar is not the usual upbeat kind of excited webinar normally. Probably that has a lot to do with most of the team having little to no sleep. That's probably what I would say. Because there's been a lot going on, and you guys know that we are getting ready for the OMG live event in Nashville, Tennessee at the Drury Hotel. That's a big party. Some of you will be there, and all will be revealed in regards to this in person as well, along with many, many other things. And of course, you also know that we have our upcoming certifications, and not to, as we mentioned at the beginning, the live certification event in March, which are as a few seats left. Looking forward to see some of you guys there as well.
Somebody asked me way early on when we were looking at the first site if I had a siloed site that I could demo. And I just realized all of my sites have been, all of my normal sites have been completely flattened because we have our new plugins coming out. So I'll have to get back to you with a sample site. And if anybody wants to be beta testers, I'm ready for beta testers at this point. Give me a ping privately on Skype, CB_13. And
It's like we're pretty much ready to roll those into beta, huh?
we are ready to roll into beta.
Okay.
Woohoo! I'm excited. Okay. I'm so excited.
Awesome. And the new releases of those plugins, obviously to members, you will be notified first.
Yeah.
And Silo, SEO Silo plugin.com will be the release platform, I believe. Don't etch that in stone. I'm going to make sure with Sue and the team that we want to do that. But we're creating all new help files, all new videos. Gosh, we thought the earlier version that we put together was great. This is built from the ground up. I just want to make sure all you guys know that there's 3 versions of the new Silo plugin. There's Silo Ultimate. There's the Ultimate Silo plugin. There's the Video Silo plugin. And then we have a new version of it, which is Simple. It's called Simple Silo, isn't it, Sue?
Yeah,
and
it's just for blogs. It's just a 1 tier.
Just a simple 1 tier for blogs for those of you who know if you've attended certification level 1, why you might need that. So we have that as well. Where did you say you wanted people to go to beta? You want them to email you? How about a Skype group or something?
Skype.
Yeah.
Just Skype me.
Guys, just go into
_13.
Yeah, just maybe hit the Skype room or the HIP chat room. You're interested in a beta, and then Skype. Actually, she's asking you to Skype her. I did miss that, Sue. Sorry. Skype her directly, and put yourself on the beta test. Doesn't mean that we're going to accept everybody for this, but just volunteer and see what happens.
Anybody who gives me chocolate.
Yes, chocolate goes a long way. Sue.
I'll put my Skype thing here in the chat for everybody so you can see it.
Okay. Excellent. All right, with that, we'll probably wrap. You have more, Jimmy? Sorry.
Yeah, can I do one more thing? I was thinking.
Of course.
So, Joe and Paul, you both had a 1.5. You want to ask one more question to help clarify stuff? If you type it in, I'm happy to stick around and answer one question each.
Wow, that's a huge.
Clarify something.
That's huge. You guys go for it.
Confused on.
Yeah, while you guys are waiting for that, Dietrich asked a great question, which is, should you include the description with vCracken, or is that going to make a dupe content issue? You should include the video description. We haven't had any issues with dupe content on that at all.
Okay, so Joe is asking, I'm confused about the PBN dupe issue. If we have 10 posts on the home page, then each one will have its own post URL as well, so that will be the same content on 2 pages. That's correct. So you just need to be careful with, so basically how it's going to work is it's a threshold. You're okay if there's a few of them, but think in terms as if you're doing like excessive, like if all you did was PBN and you're setting them all up like that, you're going to be way over the threshold by the time all the links and content are calculated. So a little bit's okay, excessive is not.
Gotcha.
And then Paul, did Paul have the question? One more question. Paul might have left. I don't see a question in there from him.
Okay. Well, nobody's hopping at you, Jimmy, and your time's super valuable, so maybe we should just wrap it up. And guys, yep, we'll give you the replay, and we will see all of you guys who are going to be in Nashville and our live event. And we'll also see you on, just know those of you in this today, tomorrow we are going to have a final, probably not the last, but probably the last in the pattern schedule for automatic video traffic relating to the Video Kraken plugin. We will have a bonus webinar. It's mostly just a follow-up webinar for all of you who've taken that course, because I'm going to be gone next week, so I'm probably going to cancel next week. Also on Thursday, tech certification level 1 on Thursday with Matt DeCruz, myself, and Sue may or may not be there. I think it's my week on persuasion architecture and how you include persuasion architecture with website silo architecture. I'll just go ahead and wrap this call up now. And yeah, we have a lot of stuff going on, but it's a lot of fun. We look forward to seeing you on the inside of certification at our live events. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.